Today, we're going to have a guest, Andy Neary, here with Complete Game Consulting. Andy's going to be hosting a workshop for our annual meeting here in September. So wanted to bring him on today to kind of get him introduced to everybody, but also learn a little bit about what he's got going on, give us some insight into, marketing in today's marketplace and how that's evolved and changed. So welcome in, Andy. How are you today, buddy?
Good, man. Travis, I'm excited. Thank you. Not only to be in Durham with you guys here in about a month, but this conversation this morning will be fun.
Yeah, no, I'm excited too. I think this has been about a year and a half that we've been trying to put something like this together. So definitely excited to get you in front of our members in September. So
awesome. Yeah.
Andy, tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, you've got a little bit of a unique background as far as how you came into this insurance world. Tell me where you came from and how you got to Complete Game Consulting.
Well, I got in like most, not by design. I got in because somebody told me I could make a lot of money doing this, right? Yeah. But actually before that, I was fortunate enough, I played a little professional baseball. Before I got in the insurance industry, I was in the Milwaukee Brewers organization for a couple of years. So I thought I was going to be a pro athlete and make the millions that they're making today. But that was short-lived. And then I came home from pro ball, and I had a family friend said, you should give this insurance thing a try. Yeah. And I actually started in financial planning, believe it or not, Travis, but didn't last very long. Wasn't good at selling life insurance, I learned. But then I actually really got into the insurance industry by starting with Federated Insurance, who I'm sure a lot of your members know who they are very closely. They might even be former Federated members themselves.
We've got a few of those.
I learned there the power of cold calling, going door to door, the traditional methods of how we prospect today. But fast forward, when my story really changed was in 2014, Amy and I decided to move to Colorado. We lived in Wisconsin our whole life. And at that point, I was selling primarily benefit insurance, health benefits. But it was there I learned a really important lesson, because when I got out there, I realized I'm in a market, nobody knows me.
Yeah.
And I'm working for an agency that really had not used marketing at all.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, crap, I got a problem.
Yeah.
And I had two choices at that point. I could say, hey, I'm going to do it the way I was taught, smile and dial, go pound the pavement, or I could try something different. And I made the decision to try something different, which at the time people looked at me like I was an idiot. It was building a brand. I said, I'm going to build a brand. I'm going to get people to know who the heck I am. And lo and behold, that allowed me to go into a new market and build a really nice book of business in a fairly short amount of time.
Okay. And
I had friends over the years come to me and say, hey, man, can you teach me what you did?
Yeah.
And I said, sure. And it was in that moment, Travis, I realized that the industry just has not evolved as much as we'd like it to when it comes to training and prospecting, right? I mean, if you look at most agencies and what they're doing today to train their producers to go open doors, it's the way we were taught 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And so what we do today, fast forward, I built Complete Game Consulting, which is my business today. We help agencies and its producers grab the right attention from the right prospects so they can book more appointments. And that's really at the heart of what we do. At its core. And in 2021, I made the decision that I was going to go all in on this business because I was serving two masters. I was coaching, but at the same time still selling. And I said, this isn't going to work out the way I wanted to. So I gave up my book on January 1st, 21. And this is what I've been doing for the last 3 years.
Awesome. So 3 years full time. When you're reaching out to work with agencies, who's kind of your ideal client? We talk about that on our side. Who's your ideal client?
Yeah, well, here's the full circle of this. One of my first clients I ever had was Brandon Mills, SIA Group, Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Exactly.
So Brandon's still working with us. He is our longest standing client we've had. So it's fun to have this conversation with you.
Full circle.
Our ideal producer, and I'm going to give you a bad answer, is somebody who's just motivated and driven to get better. Yeah. I really say that. It sounds obvious, but Travis, everybody in this industry for the most part has a skill. Yeah. They have the knowledge. What separates the best from everybody else is the willingness to stay consistent and the drive to keep getting better every week.
Yeah.
We live in an industry that's driven. It's a lifestyle industry. And so producers hit a point, if they're making enough money to pay the bills and enjoy a good life, it's easy to take the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
We're looking for producers who are like, I get it. Everybody else is telling me I'm doing great, but I know I could be doing better.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep striving to get better. That's who we're really trying. And ironically, Travis, a lot of our clients today happen to be former athletes, college, sometimes even pro athletes.
That competitiveness.
Because of that drive.
Yeah. That makes complete sense. So when you're with Complete Game Consulting, I've got two questions. One's kind of, not related. Why didn't you go with Perfect Game Consulting, right? As a former professional pitcher, complete game, perfect game there. But in all seriousness, what all are you offering, your clients?
So first question, let me answer that. Perfect game, that's almost unreachable, right? You look at how many perfect games there have been in Major League Baseball historically. Complete game was always the thing you wanted to strive for as a pitcher. I want to go all 9 innings, right? That's really why my first tagline I ever had with the business is we help you build a marketing plan that is ready to go all 9 innings. But a lot of people didn't understand what the heck that meant, so we got rid of it. As far as how we serve, so really it comes back to three questions, Travis. If you're a producer, you're an agency, and you're trying to get the right attention from the right prospects, number one, you have to know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So do you know who your ideal prospect is? 2, what are you saying to them? What is the marketing message you're putting out there to get their attention? And then the third question is, where are you saying it? Mm-hmm. Where are you putting that message that allows you to grab a lot of attention quickly? And that's where I struck gold as a producer, because when I was in a market, nobody knew me. I said, well, if I'm just going to pick up the phone and that's all I'm going to do, this is going to take a long time because nobody knows me.
You're right.
I need to create exponential awareness, which is I need to get one message in front of a lot of people fast, which is where I leaned into social media, mainly LinkedIn. I leaned into public speaking, webinars, started a podcast because it was a way to get a message in front of a lot of people quickly.
Right.
And that's really what we're leveraging today, is helping agencies get a lot of attention quickly.
Expediting that process. That makes complete sense. I mean, I would ask you this, 2014, I mean, you've seen the industry rapidly evolve in marketing during your time frame, right? What do you think, slow to evolve? What do you think's holding the industry back there? I mean, why do you think it is slow to evolve?
You're going to get me in trouble, aren't you?
I hope not.
I believe part of it's still the fact our average age in the industry is about 60 years old.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the people at that stage in their career have earned the right to take the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
They're still running agencies. Yeah. They're still sales directors. And I think what's happening is when new producers come in who grew up in a completely different environment, mm-hmm. we're still teaching them how we did it in 1995.
Yeah.
And that's where I see the big opportunity for what we're doing. I mean, the pandemic was an unintended benefit for us. I hate to say it that way because it forced everybody online.
Forced everybody to change.
It forced people to do things differently.
Yeah.
And that's really where we come in today. Is most relationships today, Travis, are built online first.
Yeah.
And so my question is, when a prospect Googles you and looks you up, what are they going to find?
Yeah.
Because that's an important question to answer these days.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I mean, I think we've seen that evolve in our industry, right? You're building relationships with people before you ever meet them. So let's talk about the insurance agent sales playbook, right? We're going to start the first 2 hours of that in Durham, right? We're going to follow it up a few weeks later. What is unique about that workshop, and who is that really geared for?
Love you asked that. Those 3 questions I asked minutes ago, mm-hmm. Who are you talking to? What are you saying? Where are you going to say it? Everybody in that room is going to answer those 3 questions clearly.
Okay.
You will walk out of that room with clarity on those 3 questions. And when you're clear on those 3 questions, your marketing strategy just got 5 times better. And so our goal with this workshop is to help every producer in the room, agency in the room, get really clear on who they're trying to bring into their book of business, and then teaching them how to develop an effective message and pair it with a weekly prospecting strategy to go consistently bring the right prospects into their sales pipeline.
Yeah. Repeat those mechanics, right? I mean, no different than pitching. So I would ask you this. You obviously talk to a lot of different agents, agency owners, sales managers, those types of things. What is everybody's biggest fear with adapting some of these changes? What's holding people back?
Fears. It goes back to my pro baseball career, actually. It's the fear of comparison, judgment, and failure. Yeah. So where does that come into play? Let's use an example of LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn, if you're in the B2B sales space, LinkedIn is a very effective platform if you use it the right way. But why a lot of people hesitate to do it is that's not in their comfort zone.
Right.
So all of a sudden, all these fears come up, right? The comparison. You're going to compare yourself to other peers in the industry. You're going to fear what people think of you, the judgment. But the worst part is the fear of failure. What if I try it and it doesn't work? And I think that's the number one thing I am preaching to producers today, Travis. It's the number one thing I had to learn growing this business is you're going to fail.
Yeah.
You're going to fail all the time. And failure is just, hey, this didn't work. Try something else.
Yeah. How do I get better from it?
How do you get better? And I think a lot of producers get paralyzed by it. They're so afraid of fear that instead of just trying something, letting the failure teach them, they end up doing nothing and sit on the sidelines because it's paralysis by analysis, right?
Yeah. So if we were to sit here today and we're sitting across from, somebody who's looking to make a change, what would be the biggest piece of advice you would give them? I mean, like, what would be step one?
Starts in between the ears.
Yeah.
The first 3 questions I ask any producer I work with is, number 1, do you believe in what you sell?
Yeah.
Okay. The answer is yes. Move on to question 2. Do you believe in your team's ability to execute what you sell?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you believe what you sell can impact a business, possibly impact lives? Great. If you answer yes to all 3 of those, you have an obligation to tell as many people as you can.
Yeah.
And I say that because a lot of salespeople, producers, are afraid to sell for the fear of being salesy.
Yeah.
But that mindset, if you believe in what you sell and you believe it can actually help people, by not telling them, you are negating them the opportunity to get help, the help they need. And I think I had to learn that myself because I didn't want to be that used car salesman, right? But that's the whole point of sales. If you believe in what you sell, you got to tell people. And I think that's where a lot of people are missing the boat right now. For a new producer, my first piece of advice was it would be, if you believe in what you sell, let's go tell as many people as you can. Number 2, get excited about what you do. Your energy dictates your sales success.
Yeah.
And your prospects are going to feel that. And then number 3, ask for the business. And believe it or not, where a lot of producers fall short is they do all the right things. And then right at the finish line, they forget to ask for the business.
They do the hard part and forget the easiest part, right?
And I share all of these, Travis, out of empathy, because that's where I was for 10 years of my insurance career.
Yeah.
I was making all those mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think that move to Colorado was where I really took off, because it was, for me, kind of a chance to clean the slate and start over. But at the same time, I dove into not just the tactics and the sales skill. I dove into the sales mindset.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. You started living the lifestyle, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned, hey, let's tell as many people as we possibly can, about what we do. Where would you start doing that as an insurance producer or agency owner today?
Great question. So I want you to think of 2 types of awareness: linear and exponential.
Okay.
Linear awareness is one-to-one awareness. So when I pick up the phone and I cold call a prospect, how many prospects can I call with each call? 1.
Yeah.
That's linear. If I go door to door, I was taught at Federated to park my car in an industrial park and go door to door. How many doors can I knock on at once? 1.
Yeah.
That's linear awareness. Well, guess what? Today, you can on LinkedIn, you can put one message in front of hundreds, thousands of people.
Yeah.
You can have a podcast that gets hundreds of downloads a week. You can have a webinar with dozens of prospects on it. You could be speaking on stages at conferences with 100 prospects in the room. That's exponential awareness.
Yeah.
The number one thing agencies are missing today is exponential awareness. Not enough people know you exist.
Yeah.
And our goal is to help a lot of people get to know who you are fast.
Okay. Do you find that LinkedIn, of all these platforms, is the easiest way for some of these agents to get started doing these things?
If we're comparing social media, yes, because LinkedIn is the number one business to business sales platform. I shouldn't call it sales, business to business platform.
Right.
If you're in personal lines, selling homeowners and auto, I tell those producers, go on Facebook.
Yeah.
You're selling in the business to consumer. You could probably be on Instagram or TikTok, but in the business to business space, yeah, LinkedIn is going to be the most effective. But it does not create overnight wins.
Yeah.
The purpose of LinkedIn is awareness, not sales. And so your job is to build awareness. Awareness builds credibility. And we've seen it, Travis, with our clients who've done it well. They walk into meetings with prospects who already feel like they know them, and they've never met them before.
Right.
You talk about getting a leg up on your competition. That's
the way. I was going to say, I mean, in our conversations, I think one of the biggest eye-opening things, or one of the biggest mistakes I was making when it came to social media in general, was I was trying to sell on social media. And what you just said right there, it's about educating, creating awareness. You know, we then sell more linear, right? But we can educate and create awareness, you know, through these platforms much easier.
And you brought up a really good point I wanted to drive home. I'm not saying don't cold call or go door to door or send the mailers, or you still have to do that. But what you just said is imperative. When you do the direct outreach, the phone call, the email, it's more effective because people know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes complete sense. So we're going to bring you into Durham. We're going to knock out the first 2 hours of this in person, right, with our members. Then we're going to follow up 3 weeks later.
Yep.
When you're looking at this workshop, who do you think would be the perfect person to attend that?
Any producer that has a goal of selling, again, whether you're selling homeowners and auto, benefits, commercial, you name it, doesn't matter. I think any sales director at an agency would benefit, because your job is to help your entire team hit their sales goals. And then agency principals, because most agency principals today are probably still the number one producer on the team.
Yeah.
And so they would definitely benefit this as well, because here's the deal. No matter what market you're in, Travis, you're dealing with competition. It's a noisy market. And if you want to find a way to stand out, it's about clarity. It's about knowing who you're targeting and what you're saying to them. And our job is to teach you how to do it consistently week after week. Yeah. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest secrets they're going to learn in Durham, and it's the one that they're going to be the most hesitant with. The more tactical you are with your education, your prospecting, the more effective it's going to be. We live by a credo here at Complete Game Consulting: give away the farm, reap the harvest. When you literally teach people how to do what you're doing, you will be rewarded with new business. A lot of people want to hold back and say, well, that's why you got to hire me. Yeah. No. Today, it's about giving your prospects quick wins, tactical things they could go do right now. Teach them everything they need to know, and they will reward you with new business.
Yeah.
And they're going to learn how to do that in Durham. And then the follow-up, they're going to learn exactly how to do that.
Awesome. Well, I can tell you this, I'm extremely excited for September. I know our membership is as well, and want to say thanks for coming on here today and taking a little time to talk about it. You know, for those that are interested in learning more about you and what you do, where can they find you?
Number one, connect with me on LinkedIn, Andy Neary, Complete Game Consulting. Go to CompleteGameConsulting.com.
Okay.
We got a ton of great content there as well. We also have a YouTube channel. If you're a video viewer like me, Complete Game Consulting is a great place to go to our video library as well. Awesome.
Well, Andy, thanks so much for taking the time today, man. We will see you here in a little under a month. And, you know, if anybody's out there wanting to learn more about Andy, check him out. That information right there. And we'll talk to you soon. Okay, buddy?
All right. Looking forward to it, man.
Thanks for tuning in. You can catch our Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, or send us over a topic recommendation at podcast@siaofnc.com. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, visit us online at www.siaofnc.com. We hope you enjoyed our newest episode. See you next week.